86 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. We've got one of the biggest UFCs of the year coming up this weekend. Can't wait to share our picks with you. But first up, got to introduce this week's guests. We got Lee, the Butcher Chadwick, as well with Kyle, Guns Up Stewart, that Zony's going to touch on here. Stay tuned for their interviews later in the episode. And then, of course, UFC 276. We got Izzy and Volkanovski both defending their title. So we got to break down that card and get ahead of that book. Zony, kick things off. We'll jump right into it.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. It's a couple of our guests this week. Kyle Stewart, he's been around the game a long time. He's fought in a lot of good promotions. Only two fights in the UFC. And then he got cut after that. But he's a really exciting fighter to watch. Unfortunately, his fight about a month ago, when was it? May 6th, a month and a half ago, he lost, but he got brought in last minute to Bellator to fight Lorenz Larkin, who's been around and fought everybody. Really nice guy. Hope he can get back, get another chance in Bellator and get a W there. And he actually lost before getting to Bellator to Chris Curtis, who I know we like him on our podcast, and he's on a nice 4-fight win streak in the UFC, or it might be 3, but he's looked really good, and good to see a guy later on in his career get to the UFC and have this kind of success. So good luck to Kyle moving forward. And then Lee Chadwick, he also lost. He's from England, really nice guy as well. He had a 2-fight win streak going into Bellator 281 as well. He lost by decision. I watched that fight, very close. It was unanimous, but there was one round that I thought could have went to him with the wrestling, but unfortunately he got the loss, and hopefully he bounces back as well. He's been around the block a time or two. I'm sure he wants to get a couple more fights in before his career ends. He's 37 now, so he's got a couple left. Good luck to him. Quickly, just wanted to touch on the UAE Warriors 30 card on Saturday. I'm pumped about this. I'm pumped because lots of good fighters on the card, but also the anniversary that day, going to a concert at night. So I got to fight that, making sure my wife's happy to maybe sneaking in a couple of fights on mute while we're listening to a concert. So I'm excited for this because it starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday. So I definitely get to catch some MMA. Jesse Arnett is fighting for the UAE Warriors Featherweight Championship, which is amazing. They always put on really good fights and great promotion. He's fighting former UFC Ali El-Casey, who's on a big win streak himself, trying to get back to the UFC. If he can get this championship, I mean, at his age and what he's done, could get to the UFC, which would be awesome for him. Great guy. Talked to him a few times now. And then our other boy, Vinicius de Oliveira, one of the scariest bantamweights you may not know about in the entire world. He's 17-2. He's been murdering everybody. And I think if he gets this win on Saturday, he might get the call as well. So pretty sweet. 2 other guys I've mentioned that we've talked to before. KB Buller's on the card. He's got a couple wins in a row himself. And Michael Dufort from Quebec also had a huge finish in PFL Challenger Series recently. So really good card. There's always guys with really good records that we don't know about because of where they fight. A lot of good talent and great promotion. The next day, they have another card as well, and headlining it is former Hooks In as well, Xavier Alaoui. Hopefully he can get another win here and get on a little win streak. So yeah, looking forward to that Saturday morning. And then obviously, as you said, the biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah, it's one of those cards you look at top to bottom. Even the prelims are outstanding. I would say, I mean, you could even go back to the earliest fights on that card, and they could headline a fight night throughout the year. So it's one of those ones you want to tune in early, of course, and make sure you're nice and comfy for 12 bouts of MMA action, right? So yeah, UFC 276, 2 title fights on the line with some great kind of prospects as well mixed in there, and a couple veteran fights, a couple legends going at it that could be the last time we see him in the octagon. So definitely one worth buying and reserving your Saturday night for. So with that said, let's get ahead of the book. We got easy lines on tap for y'all. Z-Balls is down in Toronto. He's unavailable to join us, but we did give him a quick ring, get his insight, and we're going to be sharing those picks with you. So why don't you kick things off, Zoni? I don't know if you want to start maybe at the headline championship fights, and then we'll work backwards into the prelims. And
I was thinking of starting at the bottom, actually. Just
sure,
because he's not here, we'll go from bottom to top, and then we'll finish off with a bang.
Yeah, let's do that, and that'll keep folks stuck around for the headline.
We're hooking them in.
Yep, let's do it. So I know we've got Jessica Rose Clark, Julia Storyarenko, bantamweight women, kind of kicking off the card there. So
yeah, just a quick one there. Storyarenko is one of the most awkward and unskilled fighters in the UFC, but always can be dangerous. She has 3-fight losing streak here, and one more will probably get her cut. So she'll be scary. And I don't love the line. I'm just talking a straight money line, maybe parlay with something else that we talk about. Jessica Rose Clark had one of the most disappointing fights IQ wise of her career. She tried to wrestle the wrestler last fight. That was the only way she was going to lose, and she chose that route. I think she went back. I think coaches fixed some shit, and I think she's going to be smart here. And I think she gets the win, just not sure how it finishes. So I got her money line.
Yep. Seems like a lock to me. If you do feel like there's going to be a finish here, seeing some great value, plus 450 there for Jessica, which is 5.5 to 1. That's pretty wild. I guess, women's fights do tend to go to the distance and to the judges, but man alive.
She's strong enough to finish her for sure.
Yeah, and just with that awkward risk-taking style that Julia's got, it's definitely within the realm of possibility. 5.5 to 1 is less than 20% probability. It's not, I don't think that. I think it's a much higher probability. So hidden value there. Want to get crazy? I mean, round 2 finish plus 1,400 is insane. That's 15 to 1 odds for Jessica.
Yeah.
Maybe worth a half unit sprinkle and start off the night with a huge hit if you can do it. So that segues us nicely into Jessica I, Macy Barber. Who you got there?
Yeah, I got Macy Barber, over a decade younger, way faster. Jessica I, in her stand-up, all her fights are stand-up. She likes boxing, but she's not fast, and I think that's going to hurt her. I love Macy Barber's wrestling, and I definitely think it's her time to kind of take over, and some of these older girls that have been around for a while are going to take a backseat. So, again, I don't know about a finish, but I like her by money line.
Yeah, I'm seeing this one probably on the over, probably decision, just based off what I'm seeing from Macy's past performances. She's tough, man. Like, I do remember that Maverick fight last summer. Grinded out a split. Could have went either way. And I could see that fight, or this fight this weekend, turning out the same way. So
it could.
If you're looking at those odds here, not great value. It's minus 125 for Barber by decision, but could be a nice one you parlay 3 or 4 fight and just add a bit of a multiplier there, right? So let's head into the first men's fight of the night. We got Uriah Hall, who, kind of on a, bit of a little streak there, but facing a really tough test in Andre Muniz. Who do you think you got there?
Yeah, I got Muniz. I think potentially he pretty confident he chokes him out. It does pay minus 188, so not amazing value, but I do really think that happens. Obviously, Hall can pull off something special. By finish plus 400, not a crazy value if you're thinking about going both ways. But my money is going to be on Andre Muniz by finish. I think he chokes him out.
Yep, I'm liking that. I think his win streak continues, and you look at this, the tail of the tape. I mean, Muniz an inch taller. Hall's got an inch reach advantage. So, pretty close, but I do think there is an edge there. Muniz is 5 years younger, so I think
yes, yeah.
youth kind of
and
is
yes, yeah, and he has 3 straight armbar finishes. I feel like Uriah knows this, would have trained against it. So I feel like if that presents itself, it actually might open something else up for Muniz. He might grab a neck or grab a hold of something else because he's so slick on the ground. So yeah, I really like it to get to the ground, and I like a choke out for sure.
Yeah, and similar kind of stylist, or I guess tail of the tape matchup, let's call it. In the next one, Tavares versus Duplessis. We've got Tavares, right, who's been around the block. He's 34 now. He lost to the champion close to 4 years ago, but 6 years elder of Duplessis, who seems to be one of those middleweight prospects coming up in the ranks. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Odds are fairly even, almost coin flip. And then, yeah, they're both 6'1". Duplessis 2-inch reach advantage, so not much there. But, yeah, who are you feeling in this one? Close.
Honestly, I gotta go with that I'm not gonna have a pick. I was trying to look to find something here to tell you, and I don't even really like the fight to go the distance, yes or no. I don't like either. I don't like the rounds. Obviously, I'll be sprinkling, and I might have to go with who I originally thought, which was Brad Tavares, but I've been swung the other way this week, and I'm really split down the middle. So maybe you have a more definitive answer there.
Yeah, I'm going Duplessis. It's not the greatest value at minus 150, but I am going to parlay him with some other favorites. I do like the youth here as well. I do think his upside is a little more than Tavares. We kind of know what Tavares' upside is, and you look at his last few fights, right? Split, unanimous, and then got finished by Shabazian, lost to Izzy by decision, and then beat Yako by finish. But that's over 4 years ago now. So I don't know. He hasn't really been around. 5 fights in the last 4 and a bit years isn't much. Duplessis, he's got 4 wins in under 3 years. So yeah, I'm liking Duplessis, and he's one guy to watch here in the middleweight if he can reel off another win.
Yep.
So yeah, let's keep it rolling here. Who do we got next? We've got the legend fight. Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone. I know it's a last minute one for Donald. He was supposed to square off, what was it, last week, 2 weeks ago on a fight night, and that got unfortunately canceled. So it's nice seeing him back, ready to take on whoever. But he's got another legend to go up against, Jim Miller. So what are you thinking on that one?
Yeah, it's his 48th fight. He's trying to get to 50. I mean, no matter what happens here, I still think they'll give it to him for what he's done for the company. But it's tough for me. He's my favorite fighter of all time, and I hate to see him go out like this. I mean, he could, pull ahead. Like, he's already beat him, but they're in different parts of their career. Miller's actually looked really good, and he wants to be the first to ever fight on UFC 100, 200, and 300. And he also likely is going to get there no matter what happens here as well. But yeah, I like Miller, and I like Miller by finish. Cerrone's, when you watch him these days, like he's always started slow, but now he starts slow, and people know this now, and they take advantage quick, and he doesn't take a shot like he used to. Like, his body, if he gets touched in the body, he crumples fairly quick. I don't like this fight for him at all. I did like him against Lozon, but this is a different kind of animal. Lozon's also almost done. Miller's looked really good. I love Miller by finish at plus 120.
Yeah, I'm even looking here, round betting Miller first round finish plus 300, 4-1 odds. I personally kind of like that. Although they could just show respect first round, kind of be conservative, range it out, and then like round 2 plus 550 seems also juicy. So I might just sprinkle between those two. I'm not really seeing the greatest value. Obviously, Miller money line. Finish, nah, not really. You're just doubling your money. So unless you throw those in a parlay, but straight up bets, I'm kind of just liking the round betting on this one, to be honest. So,
yeah.
You know what? Definitely one I I'm circling, and I really want to watch regardless of what happens. But yeah, doesn't look good for Cowboy. So that slides into kind of the opposite. We got two great lightweight prospects here who we were talking this week in the chat, just crazy deep division. There's just so many good up and comers. And these are two of them right here. We've got Brad Riddell and Jalen Turner. Who are you leaning towards on this one?
Yeah, is this the Ian Gary fight, or that's next?
Oh, so what's happening here is it is, I think, Ian Gary, but Tapology might have
switched them around or something.
They did, yeah. Tapology has a different order than Bet365, so we'll cover both in a row here.
What do you want to do first, the Riddell one?
Yeah, let's do Riddell, and then we'll do Ian Gary, and then go into Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Turner. Too many weapons, too much length, too much athleticism here. I mean, Riddell's a really good fighter, but I like Turner again by finish here. He's on a roll.
I think you nailed it. Athleticism's the key. He's 3.5 years younger. I like that. And look at the height, 6-inch height advantage with 4-inch reach. I think that's going to be a problem for Riddell, but
I do too.
Yeah, with even odds or slightly even odds, I'm really liking Turner the more I look at that one.
Really good.
So now let's go into my lock of the night. Ian Gary, Gabe Green. Break that one down, and I'll throw in my 2 cents.
Yeah, I got Gary as well, but Gabe Green looked good against our buddy Johan. In terms of getting dropped and bouncing back. So with his fight, his will, and his improved cardio, I actually like Gary by decision. I think he wins the fight, but I think it gets dragged out for 15 minutes, and the value on that's plus 210. So that's where I'm leaning.
Yep, I could see that being decision. It's obviously, like we said, biggest card of the year, and I could see a relatively young fighter, right? He's only 24. Ian Gary being maybe a little bit gun shy, doesn't want to get knocked out, doesn't want to get embarrassed, doesn't want to get that first loss, and be more conservative and go for points. I think that's a really good call, and I really like the value there. That's what almost plus 210. That's 3-1 odds. I like that really. But I will be going pretty heavy on money line, and probably throwing a couple other favorites just on a kind of lock of the night parlay.
Nice.
Which leads us right into the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley, which, wow, minus 300. Not surprised. But...
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a good fight. It's his toughest test, unless you want to go back to Marlon Vera, who's been on a tear. But, I mean, pick your poison. But Pedro Munoz is still really good. But I got O'Malley here. The value's not great. I'm going to lean towards his hands being the difference. I think he might finish him a ground and pound plus 130. That's where I'm leaning towards. I think he wins the fight.
Yep, agreed. Tail of the tape tells you a few things here, right? We've got 5-inch height advantage, 7-inch reach for O'Malley, and then 8 years younger. That's a big, big difference. The only thing Munoz has going for him, in my opinion, is strength of schedule. He has fought the who's who of the big division, right? Look at his last 5. Sterling, Edgar, Rivera, Aldo, Cruz. Like
Murderers Row.
He's 1-4 in the last 5, so that's obviously not great. But look at who's fighting. I could see it being, like you said, Sugar's hardest test to date, and could be a close squeak out a decision. I might be going there. I might be going.
I could see it.
Sugar Show plus 175. That's close to 3-1 odds. I think that's where I'm going to go with that one. Just because you can't get much value on minus 300. I'm sorry, not going to pay worth the risk against someone who has been around the block. And so, this heads right into, it might be the people's fight of the night. biggest fight that isn't a championship belt, and that's Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira, one of my favorite prospects. Who do you got here?
Yeah, we went back and forth on this. Talked about it a little bit. If Sean gets and uses his wrestling, I think he can win this fight. If it stands up the whole time, he's going to get picked apart, I believe, even though he's tough as fuck. I think he is going to try to use the wrestling. I think he's going to be successful. I could see him winning by decision in the 3 rounds. So that's where I'm leaning. Doesn't mean I won't change my mind the next 2 days, but that's where I'm at right now.
I don't know why I just kind of had this vision, but I could see this going the distance. I could see this being a bloody war. And Alex Pereira plus 500 by decision is nuts. Like, that's 6-1, which it's a 3-round fight. First round could be slow, feeling out range. I didn't like Strickland's interview in the sense that he just kept saying, oh, he's got range, he's a freak of nature, it's just genetics, that's his only advantage. Well, no, the guy's skilled. And I mean, yes, he's tall, yes, he's got range, but that's not all he's got. It almost seemed like he was saying excuses before he eventually loses.
I think you're right on that.
You know what I mean? Like, because if he goes out and loses in decision and it's just a technical Pierre wins on points, he'll be like, yeah, he only won because he's taller. He's not actually better. He didn't knock me out.
Yeah, and he already set himself up for that.
Like, yeah. And I think that might happen. I like 6-1 odds.
No, I actually, you might have convinced me. The winner here is probably getting a title shot. So
that's true.
It's a big fight.
Big stakes on the line. And if not title shot, it's definitely top contender. Like either way. So yeah, it's a middleweight division deciding fight. So man alive. That one for me personally is my fight of the night, just in terms of what I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
But tough to argue against the trilogy fight. Max Holloway, Alex Volkanovski. The first 2 were obviously very controversial, very close. I think, in my opinion, Volk won that first one. Second one could have won either way. I actually think Holloway won that second one. And so, trilogy, who you got?
Yeah, Volk's looked unreal. He wants the 155-pound title shot, and with the win here, he gets it. They're going to give it to him. I know they will. And plus 300, I like him to finish Max this time around, as much as I don't want it to happen.
Agreed, because let's look at who's Max has fought since his 2 losses, right? Qatar, who's just a stand-up boxer, and then Yair Rodriguez,
stand-up as well.
Not as well, and my point there was not as well-rounded as Volk. Here's my prediction. Volk is going to use his wrestling, and he's, I think, been training in it. He's going to use that to dominate, get on the ground, wear him down, and then maybe like 3rd, 4th round, get that sub or
TKO, like ground and pound.
Just through like the war of it. So I do really like the value there. Like you're saying, Volk by finish. I don't think he wants it to go to the card. I think he's pissed that he did speak out a split, and people are saying online or whatever, the pundits saying that Holloway should have won. He's going to say, no, we're not going to the judges. Plus 300 by finish. Love that. 4-1.
Yep.
And that takes us to the main fight of the night, and that's our main event, Izzy versus Cannonier. I don't know, man. You start here, and then I'll kind of jump in.
Yeah, if you picked a fighter across from Adesanya with all the opposite skills to get crushed by, it would be Cannonier. Cannonier is obviously very skilled and used his wrestling and his power against Brunson, but Adesanya is the perfect matchup for a guy like Cannonier. He's going to get picked apart. He won't be able to touch Izzy. He won't even get inside, and he's going to get finished. So I have Izzy by finish. Then you can look at the rounds. I don't think it's going to last very long. My prediction would be that it finishes possibly in the 2nd round. I think it might only go that far. So plus 700 for me in the 2nd round might be a little side value play for me.
Yeah, wasn't a huge fan of Cannonier getting the shot, but I guess they kind of had to because Whitaker's already lost twice to Izzy, and near the end of his career, he's 38, right? He's only got 2 wins in a row. He did lose to Whitaker. And yeah, I mean, you look at the tape, he's 4 or 5 inches shorter, definitely less reach, 2.5 inches. And I don't know, that age difference of 6 years is substantial. So yeah, really liking Izzy in a dominant performance. I could see this maybe finishing there in the second, third round. I'm seeing plus 700, plus 900. If you're doing singles bets, even by finish, plus 140 isn't great value, but maybe that's one you just parlay. And nice double multipliers going in your parlays. So yeah, hell of a card. I mean, you know what? We're going to see surprises. We're going to see upsets. That's almost a guarantee with matchups like this. And I just hope there's some crazy finishes and we have something great to talk about in the chat next week or on episode 87. So
can't wait.
That's it for me. You got any parting picks or predictions? Or
No, I just think we have 10 or 15 seconds left. So we thank you and love you guys. And we'll catch you at the cashier.
Get ahead of that book. Catch you next week.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 15-5 middleweight. He's got a big fight coming up, Bellator 280. We got Kyle Guns Up Stewart. How's it going, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Got the short notice call, Bellator. Got it on Monday. Been training. Just finished up sparring. Got one. I mean, I've been training, so it's not like I'm out of shape. In fact, I'm actually in pretty good shape. My weight's pretty low already. But, you know, I just had one day of good sparring in the cage, and now it's, you know, everything's already ready in place. So it's just kind of, I know how to fight. I need to go out there and do what I need to do. And my last fight was probably my best performance I've had so far. You know, it's about 3 weeks ago, so I'm just trying to carry that energy over into this fight.
Absolutely, yeah. And I watched that card. I watched a lot of different cards. I keep up on that stuff. So that performance, like you said, was fantastic. That card actually was fantastic. A lot of good fights, a lot of good fighters on that card.
XMMA is doing the thing, man. They got a lot of. It's a great. I love XMMA specifically for this. It's a great place for fighters like me. If you're coming up on the regional scene, you know, you got the LFA, CFFC, you know, I fought for Cage Warriors. But there's not many prospects in those promotions that are going to step up and fight like a UFC vet or a Bellator vet.
Absolutely.
You know, like, so there's not many places for guys to fight. XMMA gives a lot of veterans like me a chance to fight. You're going to be fighting other veterans. You're going to be fighting other tough guys. But at least you have an outlet to fight, you know.
Absolutely. So, you know, big win over a former UFC guy. You got a lipper in there?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Baby, that's how we do it.
Yeah, I took a little break from that, but I went on a fishing trip last weekend, and I had a few lippers in myself. What's your favorite kind?
Copenhagen Long Cut Wintergreen, baby.
There we go. That's how it's done. I had a Skull Peach all weekend, but Copenhagen Wintergreen's probably one of my favorites too. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And I've good a couple of times. Every time I go hunting, every time I go fishing, I'm like, dude, I need that. And then it just starts all over again.
Oh yeah, no, it's starting already for me too. Just how it is. But yeah, amazing performance, and you know, throughout your career, you've fought really tough guys, and you know, it's no different on UFC or sorry Bellator 280, and Lorenz Larkin. So this is your opponent. Obviously, he's been around a time or two. Kind of, what do you know about him, and how do you feel you stack up against him?
He's a G, man. He's been in the game forever. You know, it's funny. I was telling somebody earlier, like, I've studied a lot of film on Larkin, like for years. You know, I study a lot of film. I study a lot of film on guys. Take some tools that I see that they use. So I've studied. Actually, it's funny because that little instep kick that he does to the belly that he hit Neil Magny with, I've done that. I've done a lot in sparring, done it in a few fights. But I just call it the Larkin. So my coach calls it the Larkin. I throw that kick. So I've studied a lot of the film. He's a fucking tough guy. Not many people outside of MMA, like the hardcore fans, know who he is. But if you're in the game, you know who Lorenz Larkin is. I mean, he's a fucking all killer, no filler type of a fighter, you know?
Yeah, and it's watching him in the past year, like at one point I thought this guy was going to be really untouchable, and then obviously he's got a couple of losses fairly recent before this 5-fight win streak, but the losses are against like some of the best in the world. So at the time, not knowing, you know, where guys are and, you know, what kind of run they're going to go on, you're not exactly sure. But yeah, 5-fight win streak here, and you know, with the short notice fight, I did want to ask you quickly just about that weight cut, because you did fight on April 2nd. How does that work for you, being, you know, a middleweight and kind of making that work?
Oh, it'll be a easy cut for me. I was 197 this morning, so
okay.
It'll be an easy cut. You know, I'm actually pretty small. Like, when I'm a little bit bigger than I was when I was fighting at 170. You know, when I fought in the UFC, my first fight in the UFC, people bitch about weight cuts. I cut 28 pounds in 5 days for my UFC debut. So, like,
yeah, that's
people, oh my God, this guy had to cut 20 pounds in 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, do 28 in 5 days, then come talk to me.
Yeah, no kidding.
So yeah, that's why I went up to middleweight. Cutting to 170 took my balls from me, if that makes sense. Like,
it makes a lot of sense.
I would get tired. Yeah, I would get tired in the fights, but not because I was out of shape or didn't have the cardio, because I was putting in the work in camp. But it was just like I hit this wall where my was like, dude, you have no fuel, you have no energy, you've taken it all from us in the past fucking week. We can't respond. You know, in my last fight in the UFC, I really felt that, and I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna keep fighting, I'm gonna go up to middleweight where I can enjoy myself. I can not have to worry about a weight cut, not have to worry about starving and dehydrating myself before I go in and fight. So I love fighting at 185. I have the energy to go all the rounds, and it's much better for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and the pop will still be there, and yeah, just, you know, looking forward to that fight and that card especially, and I just find it awesome for a guy like you with a ton of success. This guy's on a 5-fight win streak in Bellator, and you get the short notice opportunity. Like, the eyes are on you, and if you get a big win here, which, you know, we both I think you will, you know, what could be after, and we don't want to look after, but just the opportunity is there, and you know, just happy for you to have it.
No, yeah, I'm not really, and it's funny, I think one of the things that I've really done when I perform the best is I'm not really concerned about winning. You know, of course you want to win. I'm not saying you don't want to win the fight, but, like, for instance, when I was in the UFC making my debut, I was like, oh, I gotta, you know, I can't start 0-1, and then I lost that one. In my second fight, I was like, man, if I lose again, they're gonna cut me. So I let all that pressure get to me, and even after going down on the regional scene, my best friend were really fight. It was just like, fuck what happened. Forget about the past. Forget what happens in the future. Just be present. Keep perform second the best that you can in that fight. And that's what I'm going in there to do. You know, yeah. Lorenz Larkin is like, people are like, well, how do you match up against him? He's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. Like I said, he's all killer, no filler. He's not looking to grapple. He's not looking to wrestle. You know, he's looking to knock you out. He uses strikes, and I'm looking to match that same energy. So, you know, I'm more than happy flipping the coin and going there and just put my best foot forward. My buddy Mike Hamill fights in Bellator too. He got a short notice call to fight Adam Bort, and he lost that fight, but he went in there and he fucking was throwing for the fences. He did not take a back step. You know, he was aggressive. He got after it, and I think, you know, I have another guy that I know that got the last minute call and kind of folded into the fetal position. And it's like, okay, so you can go in there and just let everything overwhelm you, fold into the fetal position. You can go in there, give everything you have, and just let it fly and still take an L. Or you can go in there and let it all fly and fucking. I know the best fights I've had is when I was most, like, centered, most at peace, most, you know, I didn't let the nerves get to me. So that's where I'm at. I don't care where the in the moment and win those moment for moment. You know?
That's a great mindset to have. And can I take a stab at the guy that folded quickly? Let me take a guess. Was it Huckbody, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, no hating on him. He's a good dude. It's just seeing him go in that fight, I was like, dude, it's like you got your first fight, you kind of just rolled over, you know?
Yeah, the way you described that, I thought it was him.
Yeah, No, I'm not trying to trash him. He's a good dude, and he comes down and he trains with us at the gym, but it's just like, dude, I ain't never going out like that. I'll fucking tell you that much. I will get the strings cut on me, embarrassing highlight reel knockout before you see me just roll over.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Hamill, we've talked to in the past, and he had a great win last time out, and I think he's on the right track. But yeah, he leaves it all out there as well. Just outside of fighting, what are just a few hobbies that you have to keep you busy, keep you happy?
I work, man. Still working that 40-hour-a-week job, you know, and I'm glad I'm in Bellator now. I'm making world-class money, fighting world-class competition, which is what I've always wanted. And I still don't plan on quitting my job. Going to keep working my 40 hours a week, still stay in the gym, probably work less overtime. But I don't really have any hobbies. Spend time with my girlfriend, spend time with my dog, you know, go see the family when I can. Live on the other side of town. So, you know, I don't really have too many hobbies. I just live this, you know, eat, sleep, and breathe it. I tell people I have no social life because I work nights and weekends, so I never go out on weekends. I'm always working weekends. And then, so weekdays are my time to train. Weekdays when I'm not working, I spend time with the girl and the dog, and it's just rinse and repeat, you know, gym, sleep, work, gym, sleep, work, my life.
There we go. Any sponsors or shout outs before we finish up here?
Yeah, you know, first I want to give a shout out to my manager, Oren Hodak, Knockout Representation. He's one of the best managers in the game. You know, a lot of these young fighters try to sign up these other management companies that represent insert top level name fighters here, and they want to be part of the cool club. But he's taking care of me, always taking care of me with sponsors, getting me good sponsors, and getting me taken care of. Because once you get to that level, once you get to the Bellator, the UFC level, that manager is going to take 10, 15, 20%, whatever you have worked out. But when you're fighting on the regional level and you have no money and you're fighting for peanuts, it's like, well, what are you getting in sponsorships? And he's always taking care of me with that. So Smart Soft Self-Storage, Hair Club, Howitzer Clothing, some of the sponsors. I think VersaClimber might be in on this. Trinidad Jeans. I'm wearing Trinidad shirt right now. Shout out to Trinidad Jeans. They've taken care of me a lot. I don't know if they're going to sponsor me for this fight, but I always want to shout them out. It's one of my brothers I was in the Marine Corps with. He runs that company, so they've always taken care of me. Off the top of my head, what their sponsors? I want to thank my team at the MMA Lab. Other sponsorships, I can't think of them off the top of my head. But everybody who's part of Team Stewart, I really love and appreciate the support, man.
That's awesome. And we appreciate you making some time for us with that busy schedule. And Bellator 280. It's crazy that this Sunday's May, but next Saturday, May 6th, can't wait for that scrap you got. And Kyle guns up Stewart. Good luck, sir. This is Hooks in MMA.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care, bro.
All right. Bye.
Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 27-15-1 fighter. He's out of England, and he's a light heavyweight, and he's got a big fight coming up on May 13th. Lee the Butcher Chadwick. How's it going today?
I'm good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well, sir. Which part of England are you from?
Liverpool.
Not a bad place to be from.
No, it's good. It's good.
I was lucky enough when I was younger with my rugby team to travel to England. I'm from Canada, and England was one of my favorite places I've ever been to. So you're from
really? You have a good time?
You're from a good place. I love it.
Yeah, you're thinking the nights out, aren't you?
Probably, yeah, probably. But everything else was good. The culture, the food, everything. So
yeah,
amazing place. So yeah, you growing up there, what was it like for you? Did you play some other sports, and what got you into MMA?
No, I started wrestling when I was a kid. I'd done a bit of Greco-Roman wrestling when I was 11. And then after that, I went on to kickboxing. And then from there, I went on to jiu-jitsu and Thai boxing and stuff like that. But now, predominantly, I do submission wrestling.
Awesome. Yeah. And just, your career, I feel like you've, fought a ton of different styles. Started out, starting out, like, people want to start out with, these undefeated records and all this stuff. How have you seen the growth, like from that beginning where maybe you start out with a few losses or maybe not where you thought you'd be? How do you continue to grow and have that mindset?
Well, the difference with me is when I started out, it was like 2006. The amateur MMA wasn't really what it is now. So you didn't really have many amateur fights because the rules were silly. The rules were different. You couldn't do headshots and stuff like that. So my pro career is sort of a mixture of amateur and pro in one. So I had to learn on the job because I had 3 semi-pro fights that are on my record. And that's what they were classed as. And then I went straight to pro. So I've had 3 other MMA fights, but they haven't been recorded because of the, it was in like a sports hall and a boxing ring and just, do you know what I mean? So I didn't like the rules. I didn't like the way you couldn't elbow or hit to the head on the floor. So I went straight pro. My first pro was against a seasoned professional. Sort of made a few wrong choices at the beginning, but I learned on the job early, and I just kept grinding. I mean, if you look at my record, out of my last like 20 fights, I've won about 15 or 16 of them. So, my last 20 fights, they show who I am as a fighter. But, it's one of them records for DJs, and as long as I keep soldiering forward, I'm trying to rack up the wins now so that I can make those losses seem a lot smaller.
Yeah, and it's again, like you said, it's just a record, and you're on the job early, right? So like you said, the last 20 fights, like that's a true indication of where you've come and what you are now, which is all that matters, really. So just wanted to ask you quick, what's your toughest fight that you've ever fought?
My toughest fight is probably, it was a while back. I fought someone called Matt Howard. He was 9-0 at the time, and he was from the Rough House in England. But he was good. He was a gypsy. He'd done a lot of bare knuckle fighting. He said he'd had over 100 fights undefeated. He was 9-0 MMA, and then he fought me, and he was tough. I had to wrestle him because his fists were twice the size of mine. So he wasn't lying. But I fought him. And I just wrestled and pinned him to the cage, wore him down, took him down. Took me 2 rounds to actually get him to the floor and keep him down. The third round, I dominated and smashed him up on the floor. But I got that win. But it was a really tough fight, not only just because of the fight and the gruel and the grind of the fight, because it was a middleweight fight and it just got made weight. And I was peeing blood. Me wee was nearly red.
Really?
So having to go through a heavyweight cut and then had a 3-5-minute round grueling match, it was tough. But that's probably one of my toughest fights.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So you mix in with some grappling and stuff, but your last 2 wins with Bellator are really good ones. Arunas is seasoned as well, and a lot of people speak highly of him. That was a big win late last year. So, how do you build from that moving towards the 13th year coming up?
Well, the guy I'm fighting next is different. So Arunas was a good striker, so we didn't want to get involved in the grappling. The fight before that, the win before that in Italy, Milan, I fought a Brazilian guy. He was a black belt on the ground jiu-jitsu, and I managed to submit him. So this fight is similar to the guy I fought in Italy. He's a bit of a banger. He's black belt on the ground, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so he won't be afraid to get involved in the wrestling game with me. Whereas Arunas didn't want to do that, so it was I didn't get him down to the 3rd round, Arunas, but it was a bit of a slow start to sort of fight because no one really engaged very well, do you know what I mean? And his coach told me afterwards that my striking took him by surprise. He said, your striking's got a bit better, so we didn't expect it. So even if it doesn't look pretty, me head movement, me distancing, me when I threw bombs, he didn't really want to take them. So Yeah, so this fight, I think it'll be a lot more engagement. He's going to come in. He's tough. He's never been stopped, and he's going to come to fight. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be more of a complete like mixed martial arts fight where it could go
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah.
Might drag out a little bit and just who's better where and taking advantage of a mistake maybe. And I hope it's you. Do you have any hobbies that you do outside of MMA training? The stuff that you like to keep you happy, keep you engaged in?
Just family time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do nothing other. All I do is train. I train every day, morning and night, and over weekend, on my day off, I like to take the family out, maybe go to cinemas, go for food, go take them to the arcade. That's it. Just family time. Takes me mind off it. I love doing that. Sounds like you've got a family there to.
Yeah, they're getting a little wild in the background here. Keeps us in line.
Other than fighting, just family time. There's nothing better.
Exactly. Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media to finish up?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to my team, ASW, a couple of gyms I'd say, Nat Forge Fitness and Four Corners Combat Gym. Also, PNI Supplements is a big sponsor. Angels and Energies is a big sponsor. Grapple Fest. Just hope I don't miss anyone else. I hate doing this.
Yeah.
HD Management, who get me new fights and my contracts and look after me. So yeah, just like to thank everyone who gets behind me.
Awesome. And we're behind you as well. Can't wait for your match coming up on the 13th. And get that win streak going here and get a big fight coming up moving forward here. Lee Chadwick, thank you so much for your time. This is Hooks in MMA.
No problem. Nice speaking to you.
You too, sir. You take care, travel safe, and good luck.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.